Yo, what's up guys? My name is JT and we're going to open up this box right here on Model Railroad in the Southwest. So what's in this box is a couple of Athearn Genesis P40s, and I've been waiting for these for a long time, so let's go ahead and open these up. Okay, so here's the invoice right there. Let's go ahead and pull these out. So here's the newly released Athearn Genesis Amtrak P40DC. Here is number 816 with Tsunami 2 sound. Here we have another one. Here's another P40DC 824 with Tsunami 2 sound. Let's go ahead and open these up and check them out. Okay, so here's the box. I really like these new Athearn boxes. I really like the new logo, and I think this color of blue is different from the prior boxes. I may be wrong. I still have not put these up to the older boxes to see if there's a difference, but let's go ahead and open this up. Underneath the lid, you'll find the typical paperwork that Athearn puts in their models, and here is the operator's manual with the DCC information and all that stuff. And here is the model right there. It's looking pretty good. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up. Seems like there is a... Okay, so in here there is the antenna, an extra mirror, and a couple of steps. So this has a typical clamshell packaging that a lot of manufacturers use these days. Just open it up just like this. And there is the model. Let's go ahead and put this on Lazy Susan and check it out. Alrighty, so here we have 816 here on the Lazy Susan. I'm only going to do one just because I feel that doing two of them would be a little bit redundant. So they're pretty much the same thing, pretty much the same details, just a different road number. So let's check it out. So not too long ago, I just did the P42DCs that came out about maybe close to about a month ago. And I feel like I'm just kind of reviewing the same engine just because they look very similar to each other. The one I did was the number 46, and that one is a really good looking engine. If you guys are interested in the review for that one, go ahead and check my YouTube channel. The only thing that people are having issues with on that engine was the number 46 on the conductor side. The number was not placed properly, and I think a lot of people are still waiting for Athearn to address that. And so far, as of this video being made, Athearn really hasn't addressed that issue. But, you know, we'll see what happens in the future, see if Athearn does come up with a solution to either correct the problem or see what they can do. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a closer look and look at some of the details. So looking at the front of the model, you'll notice that there's a lot of detail. If you look at the roof, you'll find that there's a bunch of little antennas and stuff on the top there. Over here you'll find some separately applied windshield wipers, and behind the windshield you'll see that there is some dashboard detail. You'll find that there's a number board there that is actually lit. It does light up. Right below the number board you'll find that there's the headlight. There's two LEDs for the headlight, and right next to the headlight on either side you'll find that there's the lights here that indicate whether the engine's going forward or reverse. Those turn on red when you put the engine in reverse, and right below those you'll find that there is the ditch lights, and those light up as well. All the lights on this model are all LED. Down here you'll find that there's some detail for MU hoses and some other sockets for other connections for MUing some engines together. Right below there you'll find that there is a very well done snow plow along with the cut lever for the coupler, and right below that you'll find some other hoses and some air hoses, and it looks pretty good. Everything looks very nicely done on the front of this engine. You'll find that there is some detail for the removable nose. Right there you'll find some detail for bolts and stuff along the bottom there. So let's go ahead and move over to the conductor side where the window is. So on this side of the model you'll notice that there's a pretty good amount of detail. You'll notice that there are some separately applied mirrors on either side of the model. Over here you'll find that the door has some good detail on it. You can see that there are some handles there. They're not separately applied, but they're molded in, but they look pretty good. On either side of the door, you'll see that there's some separately applied grab irons. I think on the P42 video I said that they were molded in. They are in fact separately applied. They look really good. Just below the door you'll see that there is a separately applied step detail here. There is some grills here and all alongside there. On the P42 video I noted that these Athearn Genesis models should have come with etched metal grills, and I still think that they should have. I think that Athearn kind of missed the mark on that. It just seems strange that a Genesis model in 2024 still has molded in grills. Still looks pretty good nonetheless, but I think that these would have really been taken to the next level if they were separately applied. Now, one thing I wanted to note about the grills as well is that they seem like they're weathered, and I think that looks pretty good, gives the model some depth. If you look at the trucks, you notice that the trucks look very well done. There's a ton of detail on them, and they're actually very, very well done compared to the Kato version. I will put in a Kato model later, and we'll take a look at the both of them, and I can show you guys that this Athearn Genesis model completely blows away the Kato model in the detail aspect. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the closer to the end of the model. The rear of the model looks pretty well detailed as well. For being such a streamlined engine, I think Athearn put a pretty good amount of detail into this model. One thing I'd like to point out is that there are the two lights on either side here that turn red when you put this into forward, and in reverse they turn off and the headlight comes on, which is right here. All the lights on this model are LED. I think I mentioned it earlier, but in the P42 video I said that the LEDs were a little dim on that engine, and even messing with the CV values, nothing changed. These models are different. They're much brighter. They look much better than the P42s. Down here you'll notice that there is some detail right below the car body. There are some MU hoses and some brake hoses alongside with some sockets for MUing the engines together and all that stuff. And there are also some separately applied steps, just like on the front of the engine there. If you can kind of notice on the top of the model right here, I'll show you guys a better look a little bit later, but that is the only separately applied etched metal grill, which is over the fan right there. It looks really good. You can actually see the fan inside. I'll show you guys a little bit later. Let's take a look at the other side of the model. So taking a look at this side of the engine, there's really not much of a difference between this side and the other side, but there's a couple of things I'd like to point out. Underneath the model, what you'll find is there's some separately applied details here and here. Here is the fuel filler cap. It's painted red for the diesel fuel. And over here you'll find that there's some sight glasses. There's 4 of them here and 4 of them right there. And there's a small decal right there next to the fuel filler cap. So here I want to try to give you guys a good look at the interior. It's actually pretty well detailed. There's a seat there that you can't quite see because it's black. I'm trying to get as much light in there as possible, but you really just can't quite see it. But the dash looks pretty good. Here you'll find a better look at the engineer's side. There's some more decals all along right here and along the bottom there. Those are all able to be seen under magnification. They look pretty decent. There's a couple of numbers that you really can't quite see, but they look pretty good. There's the truck detail again. Like I said earlier, it's very, very well done. So let's go ahead and take a look at the roof. There's one thing that I'll always say, that if an air horn on a model train doesn't look good, it totally destroys the look of the entire engine. This one is pretty well done. It's pretty well casted. You can see down into the trumpet, and it's pretty well done. Like I said, looks good. So here's the roof of the model. Looks pretty good. I'll point out the fan here looks pretty nice. You can see directly in there. You can see the fan. You can see the exhaust looks pretty decent. There's the horn. Looks pretty good. You can see a bunch of lift ring molded in detail. The roof looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Kato engine and the Athearn side by side. So earlier I mentioned that I wanted to put the Kato and the Athearn side by side to take a closer look at them. What a huge night and day difference between the two. We have the Kato on the left and we have the Athearn on the right. Now I know the Kato is a P42 and the Athearn is a P40, but they're pretty much the same thing, same car body, maybe a detail or two are different, but they're pretty much the same thing. So I really don't want to bash Kato. I am not doing this video or this portion of the video to bash Kato whatsoever. I love these engines. I think they're very well done. They have great drives in them. They run smoothly and they pull like a horse. I'm just showing you guys the difference between the Kato and the Athearn when it comes to detail. So let's take a closer look. So the Athearn, you can tell that the colors are different between the Kato and the Athearn. I think the Athearn has a more prototypical blue than the Kato does. So let's take a closer look at the details. As you can see, the Kato does not have the windshield wipers, it does not have the mirrors, it does not have the coupler cut lever, it does not have the MU hoses or any of the other hoses, and it just plain looks just plain Jane. And you can even tell by the snowplow, it just kind of looks off. It just doesn't look quite right. But as you can see, there's a huge difference between the two. So let's take a closer look at the side of the model. So looking at the conductor side of the model, you'll notice that there are some differences. One of them being that the mirror is not present on the Kato. The grab irons near the door are molded into the shell on the Kato, and they are separately applied on the Athearn. If you look at the grills on the Kato compared to the Athearn look much better. Even though they're molded in, they just look much better than the Kato. And if you look at the trucks on the Athearn just look better than the Kato do. So right off, what you'll notice is there is a ton of detail missing on the Kato compared to the Athearn. Right below the car body over here, you'll notice that there's a ton of detail down there that none of this is present. So here we have the roof of both models. They look pretty much the same. The only thing you can tell that there's a difference is between these fans here. You can see the fan on this one and you cannot see this one here. It's a molded in grill. I think there's slots in the grill. I really can't hardly tell. I tried, putting a flashlight in there, but I really couldn't see right into the model at all. But the Athearn does take this one because you can actually see the fan on that one. The exhaust looks fairly similar. There are some differences, but they look pretty much the same. The horn on either one look pretty good. The roof detail looks pretty similar to each other. They look really good. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the Athearn model, let's put them on the layout and see how they sound and see how they run. So I'm sure most of you will agree with me that Athearn did a phenomenal job on these models. They really knocked these out of the park. They look amazing, they sound great, and they run smoothly. I highly recommend these if you're looking for a new P40. These are very well done and you will not be disappointed. So that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun recording it and editing it. There is a ton more content in the future. There's a lot of stuff coming in, a lot of new engines and more rolling stock for you guys to check out. So if you guys have a comment or anything you want to, tell me, go ahead and put in a comment down below. If you want to send me something a little more private, my email's in my channel if you want to go ahead and send me an email. So that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later. Take care and keep it between the rails.